Well, Ross, first of all, thanks for joining us here in San Antonio. Obviously, as you know, it's a lot of Aggies here in San Antonio, so they've got a lot of interest in what's going on up there in Aggie land. So thank you.
Absolutely, and howdy to all the Aggies there in the San Antonio area. Thanks for having me on.
Well, this has to be a roller coaster for you getting in as the athletic director of a major university. Obviously, the Texas A&M, huge here in the state of Texas, and then having all of this stuff happen. How in the world have you handled everything since we've all been kind of shut down?
Yeah, this Saturday, depending on when this is aired, May 23rd is the 1-year anniversary of me being announced as the athletic director at Texas A&M. And no one would have thought that we'd be dealing with this. This is not in any athletic director manual. You can't look on page 92 and no one can tell you how to handle a pandemic. And really what we've had to do is same thing. Follow health experts, follow university leaders, get all the input, work within the Southeastern Conference. Our commissioner's done a great job. And you really just have to deal with what's in front of you. What do we have today? Let's make that decision. Let's get more data. We'll make that decision down the road, whatever that might be, and just take it really one step at a time and just provide the right kind of leadership and guidance and be thoughtful and smart and as safe as possible. And that's the approach that we've tried to take.
We got some good news yesterday, at least I believe it's good news. The NCAA voting to lift the ban and athletes can go back to campus June 1st. Are you guys planning for that? Have you made a plan to get the athletes back on campus?
We have been a proponent, especially in the state of Texas, now that commercial fitness centers are open, and I really commend the job that Governor Abbott has done in being thoughtful and measured and also smart, but also getting the economy back up and running as soon as we can in the safest possible manner. So we have been a proponent of the earlier we can get our student athletes on our campus, we believe in that approach. We believe that we can put them in the safest environment possible, around our trainers, around our strength coaches in this environment. They're already here. Most of them are already in College Station anyway. So they're out in the communities, and we believe that we can protect them to the best of our ability on our campus. It's an ongoing dialogue. We have the NCAA layer that was approved on Wednesday, but we also have an ongoing dialogue within the Southeastern Conference, and we're taking a measured approach. We want to be smart. And I think we'll have some news on that soon, but it's still an ongoing dialogue.
You know, Ross, when you look at everything, obviously Texas is one thing, but then you look at the state of California is another thing. Is there a concern by some of the states that are ready to go about the states that may not be ready to go so soon?
It's kind of fascinating to see all the shifts in the conversations. We're now in the 10th week, and I'd say the last 3 weeks, the conversation has been along these lines. What if Texas is ready, but California is not? Or what if the Pac-12 is ready, but the SEC is? And really all you can go, same thing. I talked to both athletic directors at Fresno State and University of Colorado. Both were impacted by some of the news. They're telling me that they're planning on moving forward. They're planning on fall sports, obviously including football. And you have to go on that. You hear things, you monitor things, you stay in touch with colleagues. I think we've all sort of given up on uniformity, that programs may not be ready when other programs are. And what that looks like and the timing of all of that is still to be determined. It's still to play out. But I think you might have some lack of uniformity. And then if you do have that, then you pivot and you decide if you have to go a different direction both ways. And so that's what we're monitoring. But we have every intention of playing fall sports against those opponents, and so do those athletic directors.
Ross, I have to ask you this question because a lot of the sports leagues, college, pro, whatever it may be, are pretty optimistic about resuming play, but then you get this talk about fans being allowed. Now, I've been to many football games at Kyle Field, and you've got some of the most rabid fans in the entire country there. It seems to me you're going to have a hard time keeping them away. And I know that may not be a question that you can answer right now, but what is your take on allowing fans into, if there is an Aggie football game?
Well, my Zoom background, I'm assuming it'll show up on
yes.
your camera, is of my first yell practice. back last August as we were kicking off the season. And you think about that passion, you think about the 12th man, you think about our fans, and we have 733,000 seats at Kyle Field. And football is important in the state of Texas. It's very important here at Texas A&M. But health and safety will drive this. And so everything that we're planning for a full experience. And that's really our goal, is we want a full experience. That means for our student athletes, that means our fan base, and we're striving for that. We haven't got into what does Kyle Field look like social. We haven't got into that. I think we have time to make those proper decisions. We're gathering more information. I believe that society will really tell us where we're going with all of this as things do start to open up and we see other sports leagues and our communities open up. I think we'll have a better feel for all of that come September 5th. And we're planning, we're operationalizing, we're thinking ahead, we're being thoughtful, as safe as possible, risk mitigation, all of those things are on the table. But a full experience is our principle and our objective as we go into all of our fall sports.
What are you hearing from the community when it comes to that? Are they apprehensive about maybe coming to a football game, or are they ready to go?
The folks that I've talked to, they're ready to go. And we know what the impact of a football Saturday means on a community, a whole weekend full of festivities and hotels and restaurants and all the retail spots. And we need to feed that, right? We need to feed our economies, and football can be a rallying point around that. And so I sense that from the community, that they're ready to engage. They're ready to do it in the smartest way possible. We'll also have to have guidelines that talk about those vulnerable populations, and maybe the advisement is, hey, look, maybe not this game or maybe not this part of the season, and we'll get into all of that. But I sense a hunger, I sense a commitment that they want a full experience, our fan base, and again, that's what we're striving for.
Now, you mentioned that some of the athletes are there at College Station now. Have you had an opportunity to visit with some of them? And same question, are they anxious to get going?
I was on our Student Athlete Advisory Council call about 10 days or so ago and asked that question. Is everyone ready? What's the attitude? And they're all chomping at the bit. I ran into, speaking of San Antonio, our starting quarterback, Kellen Mond. I ran into him in the parking lot the other day. He was picking up something, and I asked him, Kellen, what are you guys thinking? What's the attitude? Mr. Ross, we're ready to go. When can the weight room open? That was his question. And I said, not yet. Hold tight. So they're all chomping at the bit. They all want to compete. They all want this experience. They know that we're going to put them in the safest environment possible. And they're all just ready to compete as an Aggie at the highest level in the SEC. And they're all ready.
Okay, I've got to ask you, coming in to Texas A&M, and again, it's maybe one of the most unique places I've ever been. What has been your experience there with a year under your belt?
It's been terrific. The passion, the enthusiasm, the size and scale. And I had known about Texas A&M for a long, long time, working in the Big 12 when I used to work at Missouri. Came here quite often, obviously being in the SEC, working at Ole Miss. So I always thought A&M, Aggie Land was a great fit for the SEC. But just to be on this side of it, to see the passion, to have that experience like the Yell practice that's behind me. There's just so much power in that Aggie network, in the spirit of Aggie Land, and all the traditions that wrap around this great university. And people are committed to really kind of take that next step. We've got this SEC platform now. Let's take the next step. Let's win championships. Let's compete on the national stage. Let's be that top 5 athletic department that we can be. And there's that hunger. We know we have this little delay here, and we have this challenge that we still have to overcome in many ways, but we'll be stronger. We're prepared, and that's what I've sensed from all the Aggies as I've interacted with them.
I really appreciate the time today, but I can't let you get away without asking you this question.
Yes,
it's been a big debate. It's been a big debate for a long time. Texas A&M, Texas. Is that ever going to happen again?
Here's what I keep saying, Joe, and I want to be consistent, is that let's make it a college football playoff matchup. How about that? we've got a lot of things that are on our plate right now. I haven't honestly spent any, other than answering questions about it, I haven't spent any time on it. We have a scheduling philosophy. Texas has a scheduling philosophy. They've moved on in a big way, scheduling other opponents, and so we've all got our philosophies right now. We've got the SEC. We're focused on winning those championships, and I think it'll happen. But I think it'll happen in the college football playoff, and that's been our consistent approach.
Well, tell you what, Ross, if that happens, I think people will be very excited about that platform for sure, no question. Ross, hey, thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck to you. And I love your attitude, man. I really do. I hope that we're sitting in the stands early September watching Aggie football.
Yes, sir. That's the goal. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you, Ross. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a great day.
You
great
too.
Weekend.
Bye-bye.